Welcome back to my channel. I am Emuna Zamani and I'm recording out of Second Life. Today is January the 1st, 2019. Happy New Year. We all made it into another year where we can be prosperous, seek out more joy and happiness. As I reflect on all the wonderful changes that occurred for me in 2018, you all motivating me with your views, your likes, your comments, and even subscribing to my channel is at the top of my list. So thank you so much. I will continue to provide current and thought-provoking content that needs to be discussed in SL. At least I feel it needs to be discussed. It would always be my intent to bring about positive change in our virtual world and also enlighten you guys on some things that are going on that are always positive in Second Life. And maybe it's stuff that we've stepped away from as the years have gone by, or you're new and you just don't know that these places or these events take place. I can tell you I already have some content brewing, so make sure that you not only subscribe if you are not subscribed, but you hit the notification bell so you are alerted when I upload another video. Okay, so we're now on to part 3 of body shaming in SL. And as we're getting ready to wrap this up, I've noticed that people are very sensitive when it comes to this subject. Either people realize that it's something that's happening, it's happened to them, and they wanted to speak on it. Or there are people who don't think it's a thing, and as I said, people are being too sensitive and they think it's ludicrous. They think it's nonsense, and it's just for people to have another way to complain about something. But I think on that spectrum as well, when you bring up something that people have done and it's not a good thing, they tend to respond negatively because as humans, and that includes me, when we're called out on something, sometimes we don't respond the best. So I hope that we all take a moment to, reflect on our behaviors and see that some things that we thought were funny, humorous, maybe to some people they aren't. And I myself had to reflect on certain things that I was contributing to that may not have made other people feel, good about themselves. And I most certainly apologize because that's never my intent. But hey, we're always growing and evolving, and if we stop growing and evolving, that's when there becomes a problem. I posted the question on if SL body shaming was a thing on the Second Life forums. I'll post a link to the Second Life forums because I think that all residents should go there. And if you don't want to post, at least read the things that are going on. It's a very good outlet that Linden Labs has provided to us. And I don't think that enough people take advantage of it. I saw one thing today and it said, "Where are all the black people?" And I'm like, oh my goodness, who's this, person? I assumed they were black in real life and they were looking to connect with other black people in SL. And I was like, wow, it kind of feels like when I first started SL, I promised that I felt like I didn't meet another black person until maybe, besides my SL mother and my SL grandmother, maybe like 2 years into it. And that's because I was role playing primarily. I wasn't out doing other things. So definitely check out Second Life forums. I think it'll be beneficial. And I think a lot of you that watch my videos could really add some great conversations to the forums. But when I posted this, there was one person, and I kind of feel sorry for this person because people don't realize I have a very thick skin. I've been through a lot in real life, and it's caused me to, the things that are beneficial to me, I keep them. Those that aren't, I toss them to the side. So the person said that my use of paragraphs or something like that kind of, it made, I don't know what they were trying to say. I didn't know if there was a language barrier, but it was like it hinted at me being fat, which made no sense at all. The way that this topic came about is that I shared a video with someone and I thought it was funny and he didn't. He says, although you, and that's where the tough skin comment came from. He says, although you have thicker skin when it comes to things like this, other people don't. So that's what, really caused me to take a look at it and see if this is a thing. But on that forum, I read some viewpoints that I had not considered. And then I saw some people who seemed to be offended by it because um, either they had thick skin too and they just thought people should ignore it, or maybe they've been contributing to it. So definitely take a look at that. I'll post the link on there because, as I said, I think those of you that watch my videos could really add some good conversation. So as we step into part three, I want to go back and talk about that I've already discussed, is if SL body shaming was a thing, and also my viewpoints on individual perception when it comes to avatar shapes and attributes. So now I'm going to move on to cultural perception. And I'll just start with my own culture. As a black female in America, for the most part, we're taught to embrace our curves and softness, especially in this day and time. I've heard phrases like, only a dog wants a bone, and if there's extra weight, that just means there's more to love, things like that. So we shouldn't be surprised when the love and acceptance would transfer over into that cell. If someone is comfortable being plus size in their real life, why wouldn't they want to create their avatars in that same image? Some present the argument that SL gives the ability to be perfect, so why be heavy? And that type of thinking is extremely narrow minded because in some cultures, being plus size is desirable, not just in African American cultures either. I had the ability to date someone that was from the Middle East, and the women there, um, are, I don't want to say they're more shapelier than what I've seen on television. And that's because I was looking at what the American media would show to us on television. So now that I'm on the media where I choose what I want to see, I'm seeing that there are different types of women in these cultures that I never even knew, were there because American media only shows what they want us to see as Americans. And that could be in other areas too. So, the other thing that I thought about is when I first came to SL, when I would see white female avatars, they were usually tall, very slim, no backside, and usually their thighs were the same size as their calves. Just the ones that I saw. I'm not saying this was everyone, because I couldn't speak for every avatar that's on Second Life. But their breasts would be humongous, like to the point where it looked like their body couldn't, carry them. And as I remember, um, real life celebrities, like that was the look for white female celebrities on television. So again, that transferred over into Second Life. So that's what, we would see. And when I think of the people that I met that were white and European and they had female avatars, their avatars were the same, but their chest was almost non existent. And again, when I would look at some of the celebrities, white celebrities in Europe, um, the chest wasn't a thing. So their avatars didn't reflect that because that was what was going on in their culture. And then again, I had the ability to meet some Asians that were in Second Life. And not only were their avatars small in size, but they were small in height. And I think at that time is when I started to learn about anime. Um, their features were different too. They had the rosy cheeks, the eyes widen with wonder, and the lips slightly pouty with cherry bruising. So that was something that was going on within that culture. Now, what I've done is only given a few examples that I've noticed, and I kept it in regards to female avatars. I also know that there are other examples, and that's for everyone else to continue the conversation on. I'm just dealing with a few. But the thing that we have to keep in mind is that each one of these types have had to deal with people shaming their body type because that wasn't something within their culture. I honestly think what made this even more of an issue is that people were figuring out the limitations of the bodies and also the clothing in SL. So in comes mesh, and to be more specific, fitted mesh, where your customers, if you're a designer, your customers of all different body types expected to buy your items and it fit them all perfectly. So when the items did not fit well, who's to blame? Was it these mesh body makers who were giving residents more of an ability to individualize their avatars? Was it the SL avatars who were stepping out of the chains of slimming down to fit a particular item, or increasing their height or adding thickness to their body when they really didn't want it? Or was it the designers that refused to evolve to create for all shapes? My opinion is that no one has to be at fault, but that is where we are. This circle of finger pointing and shaming of who's at fault for the evolution of the second life body. This will lead into part 4 and the final segment of body shaming, and that is when it comes to exploring community perception. So then we start looking at the designers and their perspective, and the mesh body makers, and always the second life residents who are the consumers. So I hope everyone enjoys their first day of 2019. Make sure you subscribe, comment, and like, and I'll see you in my next video.